And here are just some of the bioengineering specialties. I won't go into each one of them, but there are a variety of options. Our students have gone to become work for patent offices. They work for FDA. They work for attorney offices, patent attorney offices. They go on to medical school. They work for biomedical engineering. They go on to teach. You pick a career and we have our students there. The nice thing about the University of Louisville Bioengineering program is our students are required to do 3 paid co-ops. What does that mean? Each co-op, you get somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000. So while you're doing your education, you take 1 semester off during the 2nd year, 3rd year, and 4th year, and you actually do a co-op at a lab or an industry, and you're paid for it. So by the time you graduate at the end of 4 years, you have 1 year of experience, work experience, for which you're paid for, okay? And a lot of our students end up getting job offers in the companies that they have done their co-op program with, okay? So, Cook Medical, Johnson & Johnson, these are just some of the companies that are in Indy or in the surrounding areas. Our students have gone to Boston, California, pretty much all over the country. So in terms of industry, you have medical device design, data analysis, process development, quality, regulatory. They work with universities, hospitals, governmental agencies. A lot of them have gone on to work for the National Institutes of Health. They've gone on to become doctors, have received their doctorates. We have a PhD program within the bioengineering department. After you finish your bachelor's, if you decide to stay on for 1 more year, you end up with a master's degree, because once you've finished our bachelor's program, you add on 1 more year, you can get an MIng degree. And these are just some of the companies that have hired our graduates. Okay, so you might think we are the newest program in Speed School, but we are one of the 16 programs designated as a Coulter Translational Research Program in the whole of the U.S. Okay, so the other universities are Stanford, Georgia Tech. So we are in pretty good company. And the work that we do, if you've noticed the trend, is always translational. What does translational mean? We innovate, and our goal is to translate it to patients within 5 to 7 years. If you'd like to come to the Department of Bioengineering for a tour, we are happy to arrange it. And the first thing you'll notice is the wall of patents that we've received in the past 15 years or so. We are actually running out of space. In terms of job outlook, it's supposed to be a 5% growth. This year it was updated to 27% growth by 2030. Our median salary is around $92,000, and there's an aging population. People are aging, requires innovative solutions, and bioengineers are always going to be in demand. Okay? We were founded in 2004. We started teaching our first batch of students in 2007. We graduated our first batch in 2011. We are ABET accredited, which is basically the highest accreditation body for engineering in the whole of US. Both our bachelor's and MH program is accredited. We also have a Master of Science and doctoral programs as well. And our average pay for co-op year is about $28,000 to $36,000. Okay, with the in-state tuition, this pretty much covers all of the in-state tuition that you pay at the University of Louisville. So what do you need? And you'll need advanced math-like courses, STEM courses that you can take, biology, chemistry, and physics courses. And you need to explore possible careers that are tied to bioengineering fields if it's of some use to you. You can reach out to Betty Nunn, who is out there. If you would like to get more information, if you'd like a tour of bioengineering, you're welcome to it. And here are some of the some information websites, and this will be provided to you for speed school admission. Do you guys have any questions?
And we have two of our current students here for you all to be able to ask questions, relate anything to college, anything to be in on our program. You know, they're here as a resource for you all today. So, you know, Sarah and Louise can also answer questions.
Go ahead.
So about those co-ops that you were talking about, are a majority of those like local, going to be in Louisville, or do you travel outside of state for those?
So it's both. Okay. Frauenberg Medical is right across the river. Okay. Cook Medical is in Indy. DePuy Medical is in Indy. And then you have people going to California, Boston, all of that stuff. Some of the co-ops actually pay for your housing for you to come do their co-op, so what you earn is in addition to that. The way I would look at it is, for co-ops, think about it as an opportunity to explore not only different aspects of industry, but also different cities and towns. Okay? Don't be constrained and just try to stay in Louisville, and that'd be my personal advice, and I tell this to all the students, because you want to be able to get the opportunities throughout the country, not just in Louisville. But yes, we do have co-op opportunities in Louisville, but not everybody goes to co-op in Louisville.
Okay.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
I'll ask another. So you talked about like going to a tour. I've been on a speed school tour before. Are there like specific, like a bioengineering tour?
Yeah, we can arrange for a bioengineering tour. Okay. If you tell us you are interested in bioengineering, what area of bioengineering piques your interest, we can kind of customize your tour, take you to that specific lab that does that type of work, and we can arrange for that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I've got a question about the co-oping. Do you line those opportunities
yes.
up? So
yes.
The students don't have to go out and find those?
So we arrange, yeah, so we have a co-op office within the University of Louisville. This is an ABET requirement that they go to these co-ops and get these educational opportunities. So UofL will line up interviews for you, and our co-op placement rate is over 97%.
And this is how the co-ops work. The co-op tells them how to write their CV. They invite the company to come to Louisville. Then they make the interview with the student, and they place them in the company. And this will be around 1 year. It is 3 semesters. They can take it back to back, or during the 4 years as well.
Yeah, so they'll teach you how to write your resume. They'll teach you how to interview. So they make sure that you have all the skills, and then they invite the companies, and we have a constant stream of companies that come in every year and hire our students as co-ops. Like Johnson & Johnson, they hire 7 or 8 students.
And also we advise you to what co-op you have to select. If you need to go to medical school, for example, we encourage you to do your co-op in a lab, like Pfizer rehab. If you like to work in industry in a certain area, we recommend which company you go. If you like to work in FDA, we can make connection with you with FDA. So this is depend on what is your career, what is your plan.
But, and we also encourage, you know, they can look for opportunities that maybe aren't there. You know, so it goes both ways. So some students are able to actually, you know, cold call companies that they're interested in and explain what they, you know, what they're doing, and get responses that way too.
Any other questions? How many of you, so we cater based on your career plans. When you go from school to college, you end up getting electives that you can choose based on your career opportunities. What we also do is our faculty advise you every year to make sure you're taking the appropriate courses for your career, okay? So for example, if you're interested in a career in FDA, you might be asked to take more courses regarding regulatory aspects. Okay? Our seniors actually do a senior design project or a capstone project, and right now we've started a program where our students work with medical school students, so they identify a clinical need. So these are first and second year medical students who identify a clinical need. They know what's going on. We have a bioengineering faculty, we have a medical school faculty, and they work together to develop products that can be patented and that can be floated off as companies. So that's the kind of work that our seniors do.
Do you all have any questions about, just anything about the curriculum that Luis and Sarah can answer? Or anything about college that you've always kind of wondered about? How you handle it? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I was the student who was talking about who doesn't enjoy programming. So I was going to ask how much as a student do you guys do computer programming?
So we do have one course where you need to get the fundamentals of programming, which is, it gives you the fundamentals of programming, teaches you how to program in MATLAB, and I think there are a couple of assignments in C, but that's about it. In terms of
also and LabVIEW.
And LabVIEW.
This is what we teach in undergrad, MATLAB, AC, and LabVIEW. If you like more programming, so this is a core. At the senior level, you can take some classes related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay. All the assignment in this project will be done either by Python or MATLAB or C.
If you're not interested in programming, you don't have to take these advanced courses. There are biomedical device design courses, there are biomechanics courses, and those courses typically don't require you to do extensive programming. They are more hands-on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Also, in addition to the co-op, we have opportunity to give the opportunity to the undergrad to participate in research. So we usually, and this is happened in BE 101, we present all our research lab. We tell the student, if you have any free time during the course semester or spring or especially the summer, you can go and work in to get research experience. And this is helping them to go to either medical school or if they are planning to do postgraduate and apply for some outstanding scholarship like Fulbright or Goldwater. So this is something, opportunity that we give to the student early to develop their career.
And a number of our students have won Fulbright fellowships, Goldwater fellowships, and other prestigious national and international fellowships. Some of our students have done their co-op. They've gone all the way to Germany and they've done their co-op. We are currently signing MOUs with multiple international universities. We have one in effect with a university in Germany. We have several MOUs with universities in Egypt as well. So if you'd like to go international for co-op, there are opportunities for that as well. So our students have gone to Aachen, which is a town in Germany. You can look it up. And they've done their co-op there. So it's not just local and national, it's also international opportunities.
Is it okay if we introduce ourselves real
Sure.
quick? Yeah. So my name is Luis Rodriguez. I'm actually a junior in bioengineering, obviously. If y'all didn't know, I'm from Georgetown, Kentucky. Most people don't know where that is, but that's 20 minutes north of Lexington. I know, right? But I'm here. So instead of going UK, I'm Louisville.
I'm Sarah Swatz. I'm a junior in bioengineering. I'm from Ashland, Kentucky. People usually do not know where that is. It's Eastern Kentucky. So,
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about us, let me know. I actually work for the admissions office for Speed School. So I work for John. So if you ever guys want to do a tour, usually I'm one of the people that does the tours, the Speed School tours. And if you ever have questions about doing shadowings, usually you can, message them or message the admissions, and usually they're going to pair you up with one of us. Sometimes, most likely, it's going to be me. It's just that's what one of my requirements as a job is. So if y'all want to do a shadowing, just email, or it's very easy to contact us, and it's easy. You'll just have you'll have classes with me, lunch, and then have classes in the afternoon. It's very easy. You'll get to meet me or one of our ambassadors. So yeah.
I actually work for the co-op office. I do a work study there. So if you guys have any questions about co-oping, you can ask me. I don't know if you guys know what a work study is, but that's like an option on campus. It's like a flexible work schedule. So like if you need to study for an exam, they're not going to expect you to work for them during that. So you can ask for time off, and then you still get like maybe like a stipend or something.
You guys have any questions for us?
Could you talk about where are your classes located on the campus? Where might they expect to take those classes?
So like the first 2 years is probably like in the back.
Yeah, so I can tell you all pretty well. So your freshman year, you're taking your Engineering 110, which is your fundamental course that every freshman has to take. So that's going to be in the BAB, which is the Belknap Academic Building. So that's pretty much one of their newest buildings that we have on campus. And you will know it's one of our newest because they have in the front, on the first floor, they have like seatings that are made from the floor from the basketball team, from their old gym. So that's where we usually have our classes. That's Engineering 110, like I said, fundamentals course. Then we have our Chem 207 and then 208. And then we also have Chem 209 there on the second floor and the third floor where you take. And that's a few classes that we take in the Belknap building. Then when you come over there in the speed school side, you take on your second or your spring semester, you take your, what is it called? Biology 101 or Bioengineering 101. So that's where you learn about what bioengineering is. You have seminars, you have doctors like this come in, tell you what they do, what their research is, and what their co-ops. So you really get to learn like what bioengineering is. And you'll learn like all that experience. And also in your freshman year, you get to work with other people on like your Engineering Fundamentals course 110, like I said, in the fall. And in the spring, you also have a second course that's pretty much an add-on to that. So it's your Engineering Fundamentals course number 2, which is called 111. So you really get to work with other students from different disciplines and get to learn a lot from how mechanical engineering is applied or how chemical engineering is applied. And you get to work with other teams or other members, different disciplines, and work on projects. So it's very neat to see how engineering as a whole is, but also how bioengineering is too, and how you can add on.
So if your parents are UK fans, that's okay. We still like them. Okay, and right now it focused heavily on academics, but we also have a lot of fun. We go to BMES meetings. We just actually came back from Florida, which is, we spent a couple of days on the beach after going to the BMES conference, which is the biggest bioengineering conference. It was in Orlando. They shut the park down and only BMES attendees were there. So we went to Universal Studios, did all the rides in 2 hours, no lines. So we do an annual faculty-student basketball game. It's pretty competitive, even though our faculty are aging. It tends to be pretty competitive. We have an annual 5K run, which is slated, when is it?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
So we missed it because we just landed from Florida at about 1 o'clock, so both Dr. El-Baz and I missed it. And so we have a lot of these events, we have social events, all of that stuff. So it's not just about academics, that's one part of it, but you also have to balance it with a little bit of fun, and we do have that.
And Sarah here is actually in our student BMES chapter, and so they do, she can talk a little bit about that, but they do service projects and various things, and I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so the Biomedical Engineering Society, I'm the secretary, and what we do is that we kind of help like freshmen and sophomores explore bioengineering. So we'll once again we'll have like professors come in and speak, but we also have like pre-med students, actual doctors, like physicians. What else? Just industry, if you guys are interested. We'll have people come in and speak. We do a lot of volunteering activities. One of them is supplies overseas. You actually go in and work on medical equipment. So you learn a lot about like medical equipment. You can tear things up, put them back together.
Yeah, Supplies Overseas is a nonprofit that's located over at Spring and Melwood, basically, and they take, so when someone has surgery in the hospital, you know, they have these pre-made kits done, but the physicians may not use everything in it. Or there are certain things that can be cleaned up and reused and just be sterilized. And that's the kind of stuff that they do, or they'll take medical equipment, like you said, and refurbish it, and it goes overseas to countries that you know, don't have quite the supply chain that we do. And so that is you know, something that the students get to do. Because again, like Dr. Gruber said, they had electrical courses, you know, biomedical devices, and so you get to actually apply that knowledge.
So now you know that, yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about the dorm. If you decide, like with the bioengineering majors, do you share dorms together, so like easy to create study groups and like to lean on each other with tests and things like that?
I can actually answer that. So we do have a spot where we actually have our engineers that you can live in campus. It's called Community Park. It's the Engineering Living Learning Community. So there they house about 2 floors of that building, which is the 2nd and the 3rd floor. It's a suite style dorm, which means you have the restroom, you, your roommate, and then on the other side another suite mate and another suite mate. So it's basically all engineers. So it's all different disciplines, so mechanical, bio, chemical. So they pair you up with all of them. Like I said, your first year, you're taking most of the same classes. You guys have similar schedules. So usually usually everyone that's an engineer, you're gonna meet them, you're gonna get to know them, you're gonna study with them because you're having the same classes, the same schedule your first year. And so it's very nice to have that, you know, living with other engineers because, you know, you're going with the grind, you guys are working together, solving problems together. It really helps, you know, studying, doing homework together because you all are doing the same thing with the same, you know, deadlines. So we do have that, which is, you know, Community Park, Engineering Living Learning Community.
So now that you know you've heard about our boring spiel, I just wanted to give you some real-life devices that have made an impact. How many of you know how a valve was replaced in the heart? Go ahead. It's okay to give.
Like, I've watched it, kind of like videos of it being done,
Mm-hmm.
talked about it, but like,
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't feel qualified to answer this.
It's okay, I'm not qualified either.
I think you are.
So what they usually do is they put you under general anesthesia, they go stop your heart, you get on a heart-lung bypass machine, they cut open your chest, and they cut open your heart, take out the old valve, sew in a new valve, put it all back together, okay? It's like a 6-hour procedure. It's very invasive.
How was the human heart and stuff?
Oh, you just give enough potassium, it'll stop the human heart. So they just flow potassium, and that'll stop your heart. That's all it takes. So here is a device. Okay, this is the actual real device. You just make a small hole in the artery in your leg, snake this out to your heart, and this can repair your valve. It's called as a mitral clip. This is an actual medical device. And so instead of cutting open your chest, it's an outpatient procedure. This is being beaten up, so actually if you move all of this, this will wiggle any way you want it, but I think a lot of people have cranked it on too much and it's broken. But you can see, this is about all it takes. So from an invasive, highly invasive procedure, you just put it through your groin. You just go in, it's a local anesthesia, do the procedure, take it out, and patients can go home the same day. after a valve is repaired. I'll just pass along, just.
How long is the heart stop?
Pardon?
How long is your heart stop when they do that?
With this, they don't stop the heart at all. But when you do it, it's typically they try and keep it as short as possible, but depending on the surgeon, some surgeons are fast, some are slow, it's somewhere between 1.5 to 3 hours that they stop your heart. Yeah. How many of you have seen heart surgery on YouTube or something like that? You can take a look at it. We also work with heart transplant surgeons. When patients have a heart transplant, we get the old tissue from them and we analyze them and we study them for markers. How many of you know what a staple is? Come on, you guys don't know what a staple is? That's a surgical staple, so don't put it on your skin and crank it because it does shoot a staple. I'll just pass it along.
You didn't give it to Isaiah. Oh,
So I do have a question for you all to ponder.
yes.
So, what do you think makes this staple different than one out of that you will do with your, staple your papers together? Go ahead.
Is it made out of different metal that has negative effects?
Correct.
So we use stainless steel, but it's a different type of stainless steel. It's a medical grade stainless steel.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay? So we also develop fabrication techniques. Here you can see like a small sensor. We kind of got a larger sensor so you can see. We've developed sensor to measure pressure. It can be implanted in the back of your eye and it monitors glaucoma. But this is kind of a larger sensor that we microfabricated just so you can see them. We can fabricate them so small that it's very hard for you to see. And I'll pass this along too.
There used to be some fake lenses in there.
So we also take silk, native silk, and we fabricate biomedical materials out of them in order to make it more biocompatible. So we use natural materials and process them in order to make it more biocompatible. This is just natural silk fiber. So these are what is called as Dacron grass. Okay? They are made out of plastic material, plastic-like material that's very similar to what you see in your bottles, water bottles. But they are medical grade, they are sewn onto the aorta, and for patients with aortic dissection where their aorta is damaged, they sew those on, and that's the actual graft. Just so you know, that valve device that you're holding, that costs around $100,000.
Don't drop it out.
It's already broken, so it's okay. People have broken it.
But it could be refurbished.
I kind of want to.
And crack it. Oh, okay.
So this is used for, thermal ablation for urethane. It's a urethane catheter with a balloon at the tip. No, it's not being used on anyone.
Yeah, my sister's doing that.
So this is, if someone has cataract surgery and has to have a lens replacement, this is what they look like.
So you can definitely give it.
And so the two little wires is what they use to help hold it into place, like little springs.
I just missed that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Who has a question? Did someone have a question?
I thought she did, but she was waiting on something. So we actually have.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
So there was something in that presentation about how like for the salary, you probably need to leave. So are you saying like permanently, like there's more work opportunities downstate?
So if you think about opportunities for bioengineering, right, they are distributed all over the country. Kentucky and Indiana have a set of opportunities, but a lot of the bioengineering companies are not located in Kentucky, they are located throughout the US. So the opportunities are throughout the US. You can't be confined to just Kentucky.
Where are
This one, like nobody else.
So you have, Minneapolis, so Cook in India, DePuy Medical in India, right across the river, there's a medical, there are a few medical companies. But the very large companies like Johnson & Johnson, they are located in Boston, they are located in Minneapolis. So you end up with these big companies. Did everybody have an opportunity? So we have more devices in our toolkit, but just wanted to give you a sampling of what we do. Remember I talked to you about lung cancer? So here's an image, the image analysis that we do with lung cancer in order to diagnose it. We can also do image analysis for people with autism. We can detect autism within 6 months, and we have the technology to do that, and this is actually being developed by Dr. El-Baz, who's the chair of bioengineering, and it's currently being licensed. So here's a brain image looking at yeah. Similarly, if you have retinal damage, here's an image of your retina. You can take a look at that. That's normal and diseased. You can see the difference.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Similarly, here is a scan of a normal and abnormal kidney. So we can actually do image analysis and we can detect if a kidney is going to be rejected or not as soon as it's transplanted by your body. And so what this does is it helps physicians cater their medication to make sure that that kidney is not rejected before your immune system does damage to that transplanted kidney. So this is an autistic subject, that's a normal subject. So you can look at the difference between the two. Oh, this is for thermal treatment, so it's not just putting a catheter in.
Well, this would be it.
That's a cataract lens, so for cataract surgery, they put a lens in the eye, they remove the lens within your eye.
It's in the PowerPoint.
And if you see there are two hooks in there, that holds onto the side of your eye, inside. So that's the lens inside your eye. That's what people get when they get old. Did you get a chance to see this? Did everyone get to see the cataract lens?
Yes. Help yourself. All right, stop.
It's a cataract lens. When people get cataracts, they go through eye surgery, they remove the lens, natural lens in your eye, and they put this on.
Dude, that's so funny. No, there was one on here for only 5 Burger King. Do you really?
What other kinds of high school outreach are there, is available? Like does JV Speed do any kind of summer camps?
I don't,
Yeah,
they do summer camps. But
Robotics in different fields, one of them is robotics. This one with the autonomous.
But you can, if students are interested in bioengineering and they would like specific opportunities, we are happy. So the other thing that we do is we also have high school students.
Welcome to do their what is called their research project or scientific.
So science fair, how many of you have gone to science fairs? So students have come to our labs, done science fair projects. One of my students was placed third on the Intel Science Fair.
Oh, nice.
So
With COVID, we've had a lot of, we haven't
yeah,
had
it's
as much.
tough.
It is. And then, are you going to be, I think this Saturday is Cardinal Preview Day at, UofL?
Yes.
Right? Well, so I don't know, well, are you guys gonna be there? Like, I don't know. Is that anything?
Yeah, I'll be there for Cardinal Review Day.
Oh,
So,
good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be working there for the whole event.
Uh-huh.
If you see me, and you wanna talk to me personally, just let me know. I'll be there. And if you guys have any questions about engineering or even more about bioengineering, just feel free to walk up to me and say, hey, saw you at my high school. And I'll talk to you. It's very easy. Also, do you guys have any questions? I know it's been a little intimidating, but if you guys have any questions about college or engineering as a whole, just let me know.
I hope that's working out well.
It's a garage and nice, so they look alike. So.
Many of these students, their parents work here, so they don't.
Okay, so the average speed school student, are they like too academic, would you say, or do they still like find a way to like manage having fun and all of that?
So I would say it's a fair balance.
Okay.
A lot of the students really, I mean, you're stuck in school. I mean, you're doing school a lot, but
Okay,
I
now,
would say it's 50-50.
we have to
For
transfer
the
this.
amount of time that you study, it's also like everybody's very well time management. For me at least, on the weekends, I just hang out.
Okay.
Guys,
Yes.
do you guys have any other questions?
Saturday, I hang out with friends.
Should we find it
And
here?
Sunday I do work, so I have like a 2-day break.
I can save
Sorry,
that.
one more question.
Well, I was gonna say, if you just
So I
have
live
a,
like 10 minutes from UofL. Do you think, well, more like that.
Can you
Do
cast
you think
to
it's
that?
better to live on campus?
In a perfect
I
world,
would say
yes,
if you get to,
but I don't think
obviously
that
going to press
they,
you
I don't
living by
think
yourself,
casting
you
works.
get to be more on campus and live like campus life. You get to like meet engineers and like be a part of them
So it was on.
study, like I said.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so
I'm
much.
trying to figure out how we can play it from here. Did you click on it? How did you access it?
yeah, well, when it shows, what do you call it, the play button right in the center. And so, yeah.
So it shows it on there? Okay. Well, every time we're gonna try to cast.
Do you guys have any questions while they're trying to figure this out?
Let's see.
So remember guys, I showed you the silk? So this is what it looks like after we process it, and it's called as a scaffold, so we can implant it and tissue will grow around it.
It's like the vampire princess, is how I describe her.
So do you guys have any questions? Also, I pick up my kids from here every day, so if you see me around, say hi.
Are your kids Viraj and Vinay?
Yes.
And then so you.
I think my mom had Viraj.
Oh, okay.
I'm a twin on campus.
I work
And then I
at
one of my friends who goes to
and I'm
UofL
Viraj's
also said the same thing.
Ah, I see.
Everyone keeps telling me I have like a UofL twin. My own sister just thought that like I'm big in school to go on campus. And now it's like I need a picture, but everyone's like I don't want to get a picture of it. But now it's like, I have to do this. I don't know.
You can just increase the volume there.
I really want to. I hope it's not like he's a secret, and then it's like I'll never get to do that again. You know?
And I can dim the lights too.
throughout my whole life. I've always wanted to go to medical school. I was trying to figure out a way to make myself stand out. Bioengineering is a really good way because not many people have experience not only in the biology aspect, but also with the mathematics that's applied.
I love tinkering with things and just getting hands-on experience. Bioengineering is the perfect intersection of your traditional biology path and then an application of things.
It's basically just any problem that you can find in healthcare. How can you take that problem, find a solution, and make quality of life better? And it applies to so many different aspects, from diagnosis to treatment to search. It covers a very broad field.
One of the big parts of my current job is communicating to scientists that have a broad variety of backgrounds. And really what bioengineering has prepared me to really have some sort of a foundational level where I can better explain and better understand where different people are coming from.
We are able to design and develop technologies that ultimately will help the field of medicine. Our impact's going to be on people, helping doctors, clinicians better the quality of life. Here at UofL, students can expect to get a diverse curriculum.
Coming here and getting to sit in on classes was what made me realize that this is what I wanted to do.
I think the program that we have is really unique. Speed School, we at a very early stage try and get involved with the research. And then the other thing is the co-op program. So it's a great opportunity for students to go out and they make real money, they work on real problems, and they meet and network with people.
I mean, to graduate in 4 years with a full year of work experience is just incredible, and I fell in love with the program.
There are so many different paths that you can take within bioengineering, whether it's doing research or whether it's going into industry, whether it's going to medical school. There are so many different options that you have with that one degree.
So some of our students have actually flown on the Vomit Comet. How many of you know what the Vomit Comet is? It's the plane that astronauts train in for zero-G flights. Remember the surgery in space program? So a couple of our students actually got on that plane. So they go from 20 to 40,000 feet, and then it drops down to 20,000 feet, and they float. It's called a Vomit Comet for a reason. They survived. It's like a 20,000-foot roller coaster, and they do like 16 loops or 20 loops, do experiments in zero-G, and then come back down. They've done that type of fun stuff too. Just to give you an idea of how diverse this can be.
Have you done it?
No, I have not done it. I did the Velocicoaster. That was pretty awesome. Any other questions?
Okay, this might be a dumb question, but are the dorms for speed school students the same as dorms for normal students?
That's me. So, the good news about community park is it's only engineers, the first 2 floors, so only engineers can be admitted there. No one of another degree can't. That's the good news about that. So you can, as an engineer, live in other dorms. We always recommend live in community park, live with other engineers, because it really does help. So if you were, thinking of, I don't want to live in a community park, you're going to be stuck with other people who are not engineers. So I always recommend, I lived there my freshman year and I loved it. We had study halls at the end. They usually had study sessions, Mondays and Wednesdays for calc, Tuesdays and Thursdays for physics and chem. So it usually was very helpful for me. So I always say I recommend it. So.
This is what the dorm was asked earlier, but does it cost more with the suites than to be in like a regular dorm? Because it's additional things.
It all depends what dorm you get, honestly. Since it's a suite style, I cannot tell you the price right now. You're gonna have to look it up. So it just all depends. And we also are having, newer traditional dorms. Actually, by next year, we should have the new building built up. We pretty much just remodeled everything, and we tear the old buildings down, and now we have new dorms. So yeah, I don't know what the rates are off the top of my head. You had a question.
Yeah. So something I struggle with is finding strategies that best help me memorize information. study? What do you use like in general to study?
Okay, so I'll answer mine, but I'll let Sarah answer first, so she can tell you what she does, and then I'll tell you what I do. Because we're all very different, usually. I mean, we're all different, you know, we're in the same discipline, but we all think differently. Do you want me to go first? You want me to go first? Okay, I'll go first. So for me, I do a lot of repetition. So for me, like anything I'm studying for when it comes to orgo or anything biology related, I like to do repetition. So for example, I'll make flashcards like everyone says, but sometimes I study for an hour, take a 10-minute break, come back to it, and on like a blank piece of paper, I'll write things that, oh, this is what I remember from my reading. And then I'll make a list, and then I'll look through it, I'll skim whatever I read, or whatever I saw in the PowerPoints, or any of that slides or notes that I took, and then see if it matches up. If I miss something, reread it. And then, after like 3 days, come back to that, write my list again, and see what I'm missing, see what I need to work on. I always look at all the learning bullet points that we need to focus on, and so that's what I do personally. I like reading it. I'm a person who likes to read, so I like going back and forth and reading. But we also have a lot of PowerPoints, presentations that helps you too. And we actually, sometimes if you, like you said, it's very difficult to retain that material. We have PAL sessions. So PAL sessions are peer assisting learning, and what they do is they have a student before a semester took the class, got an A, and it works with the professor, and they do sessions after class. So if your class is like at 11 a.m., they'll have a session at 4:30 p.m. and they work with the professor to do worksheets of that class, because they're going to be in the same class with you, and then they'll work with worksheets and help you study and refresh your mind again.
Is that for every class in the speed school? Or
Yeah.
just the foundational courses?
No, it's for a speed school. Right now, all my classes have a PAL session. It's what UofL actually does. So it's for every class, even including engineering classes.
That's phenomenal.
Okay, so I like traditional note taking, just reading over my notes, but I do use programs like, you guys are probably familiar with like Quizlet. There's also another flashcard program called Anki that's really good. I like going through that, making sure I just like review it and try to like test myself on it, especially with the calculus path at speed school. I won't okay, I'll learn it through class, but I won't look at examples when I'm going through the homework. I'll try to do it myself and test myself that way. So I do a lot of that stuff.
So in terms of memorization, I know each person has their own way, but if you form mnemonics, that can help remember things. So try and form mnemonics, that will help make you remember. Always associating something with some other sense, a smell, a sight, along with a word, will help you memorize it and make you remember longer. And this has been proven in research, so I'm not just making this up. Interestingly, the smell of rosemary makes you remember better, apparently. There have been research papers on it. There are aspects that you do have to memorize. For example, anatomy and physiology. You have to know the body, what each part is called, and that type of stuff. But the memorization that you do as you progress along your degree becomes less and less. It's on how you apply your knowledge. For example, in a lot of advanced classes that I teach, students get an equation sheet. They can write whatever equation they want, but it's only equations. And the problems are given. You can look at the equation. It's not memorization, but how you apply them and whether you've learned to apply them. So engineering, you have to memorize the fundamentals, but once you've gotten the fundamentals, when you go to more advanced classes, even in your sophomore year, for my first midterm, you have to memorize because it's the fundamental equations. Once you've gotten the fundamentals out of the way, second midterm and finals, you get an equation sheet. You can write any equation that you want in that sheet. So it's not necessarily about memorization. Right now you're memorizing a lot more because you're getting that fundamental information, but you will transition into more application-oriented aspects. There are some classes where memorization becomes a part of your course. For example, anatomy. You have to know, phalanges, radial, ulna, tibia, all those bones, just look at the bones. So you have to know the names. Also, as a bioengineer, you're expected to talk with a physician. Physicians have their own language, okay? Just to give you a funny example, when a doctor doesn't know what the hell's causing a specific symptom or a disease, they'll say it's idiopathic. Idiopathic? So that means I don't know. But when they say idiopathic cardiomyopathy, it sounds different, right? So it's like learning a new language of sorts, and so you have to know some of the terminology. But once you do it, it becomes very easy. You can switch back and forth. How many of you are bilingual here? You kind of know what I'm talking about, right? So it's like learning a slightly different language. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my God.
Thank you for listening.